Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode number 140 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike of Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to take a look at this 2022 Boilermakers shirt, which was match worn by Ryan Hall. So as I did with episode number 135 of Talking Shirts, we covered the 135 shirt, which celebrated Hull KR's 135th anniversary. So on this occasion, we've gone with the Boilermakers, the shirt that was designed with the club's 140th anniversary in mind. You can see what I did there, right? So it felt quite fitting to be able to cover this shirt in this episode. So the shirt itself, it's kind of like I call it a British racing green colour. It's a really sort of deep green colour with gold additions all the way throughout the shirt, which look absolutely fantastic across the shirt. So on here, we have got IRS. That features in its natural spot now, in that sort of collar spot that was being dropped down. We know all about that. We have got FTP Electrical Testing Services. We have got Oxen's Maker Marker. We have got the Hull KR Club crest. And then we've got the Connexen front of shirt sponsor there as well. Quite sort of conspicuous by its absence on here is the gel grips that feature across sort of all of our shirts that we've had during the Oxen stroke X-Blades era. So it was quite a difference in terms of its appearance. Its build's also a little bit different as well. The material that is used is very much different to elements that have been used across other shirts. So I think this shirt was made in the UK, opposed to being made abroad due to the fact that it came out partway through the season. But things like that is information that doesn't normally come to public light. But there's definitely elements that are different about this shirt to the other two shirts that was produced during the 2022 season. Within the design, there is actually some Boilermaker blueprints, if you like. It's really hard to see those on this shirt. The fabric to this shirt is different to the one that the replica has. It shows up much better on the replica and on the side panels of this shirt. So it is really hard to be able to see that. But I will put some pictures up to show you those design elements, because it's a really clever way of showing you how sort of this connects to the Boilermakers of the late 1800s. As we take a look at this first sleeve here, we have got RSV. That's been dye sublimated in gold, as it has across the shirt. You can sort of see from here the material that's on the sleeves is different to the shirt itself. That's not too uncommon. In fact, that is quite common across plain shirts that have been produced by Oxen. Those elements are very, very much to be expected. And then underneath here, we have got sort of this crisscrossing gold design, which continues all the way around the sleeve down to the bottom, where it does split, where we've got the side panel underneath there. And then we have got this wonderful gold cuff, which just finishes the design of the shirt off very, very well, in my opinion. Having a look at the other sleeve here, and this is where we'll find the Betfred Super League competition patch. This has been heat applied to the sleeve here. As you can see, it has had to encroach elements of the design, which isn't kind of what you would normally expect. But everything on here does seem to be a little bit larger than life. I know this is a big shirt because it was worn by Ryan Hall, but everything does appear to be a little bit bigger on here than it would be actually on other versions of player worn shirts. You can see that it is slightly starting to bend up at the top left and the bottom right corners there. That's probably just a little bit of game damage and a little bit of wear and tear, potentially where the patch hasn't fully taken to the shirt, because that is quite a common feature. And then everything on here is exactly the same. We've got the blueprints featuring through as well. So yeah, as you can tell, a really, really wide sleeve. So that's been the front and the sides. Here is a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll have a little bit of chat about Ryan Hall and the back of the shirt.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode number 140 of Talking Shirts. Before the break, we was talking our way around Ryan Hall's Boilermakers shirt, and now we are going to talk about the back. So the reverse here, it's just one sort of solid panel. Again, we do have those blueprints of the Boilermaker design featuring across this shirt, but it's just so hard to see, especially in the lighting that I'm in at this moment in time. It's really, really difficult for me to see that, so I'll do my best to pop some pictures up of the reverse of the shirt where hopefully you can see some of those additional design elements. We'll start at the top as we always do. So 2022, that was the first shirt year to carry the new club crest. It was also the first one where we saw the introduction of this Robin icon. And this does sit in really, really well up here. And I thought that was a really good place for it until we dropped it down to the back of the shirt. And I think that is the perfect place for it. It allows you to be able to apply it a little bit bigger. And it just sits in with the design really, really well. Almost like the star on the top of a Christmas tree. The Robin icon on the back of a shirt is almost that sort of finishing touch that just sort of ties up a shirt design very, very nicely. Underneath that, we've got a number 1266. This is a heritage number, and this is the first and only Hull KR shirt to actually carry players' heritage numbers. So the shirts that was worn across the two games, there is a little bit of sort of confliction between the two because not everybody did have one of these, their heritage number applied, should I say. But on this occasion, for the two games that Ryan wore this shirt against Wakefield and against Wigan, he did have his heritage number on the back of his shirt, which is why I know this shirt was worn in both of those games, but a little bit more about that shortly. Below that, Harrison Solway, again, a name that keeps cropping up, along with Higher Base, long-standing supporters of the club, long-standing sponsors. Just want to thank them for everything that they've done for Hull KR over the years. It's greatly appreciated. And then we have got Hall and squad number 5, which has been applied in gold vinyl on the back of these shirts, which I think is absolutely perfect. It really, really sits and suits so well. Each player was only issued one of these shirts. The reason for that was because Sky Sports at the time wouldn't allow us to wear a shirt on TV with a gold name and number on the back. You could actually get them from the Super League, or from the company that the Super League ordered from, should I say. But Sky wouldn't permit us to wear them. So the club actually just produced one shirt for each player with a gold name and number on the back, with the heritage number for the first game, which was the game against Wakefield on the 17th of July 2022. So we actually then only wore it one more time, which was towards the end of the season. It was in August. Wigan sent a group of kids across to Craven Park. We actually won that game as well. I think it was the 29th of August. They made many changes ahead of their sort of playoff campaign, and the Robins did benefit from that. But yeah, Ryan did play in that game against Wigan. He also scored a try that day as well. So they did just produce the one shirt with the gold name and number on, because if the shirt needed to be worn on Sky, you may remember we was in a bit of a race for the playoffs. There was the potential that we may have had a playoff game and we may have worn this. If that was the case, then that game would have been televised on Sky Sports, meaning we'd have had to have had a white name and number on the back of these, which I'm kind of a little bit disappointed about in the sense, because it would have been great to have had two shirts within the collection, one with white, one with gold, but obviously that just wasn't meant to be. Very, very happy to be able to add this one of Ryan Halls, who, he's gone down as a Super League legend. He's still plying his trade now back at the Leeds Rhinos. He got a wonderful reception when he came back to Craven Park earlier this year, which I was really, really proud of. We have the saying, once a Robin, always a Robin, and I feel like that with Ryan, that definitely does transpire, and I could tell he really appreciated that warm reception that he got. This is a man that made 106 appearances for Hull KR during his 4 years at the club. A consummate professional, somebody who would always put his hand up for right and for wrong if he'd made a mistake. He was a really, really nice guy, still is. As I said, now he's back at Leeds. He's going to come up against the Robins at least a couple of more times, you would imagine, before the end of his playing career, causing us a little bit of terror, no doubt. But yeah, as I've said, 106 appearances. He's got 62 tries during his time with the East Hull club. He broke the all-time Super League record against Huddersfield at Craven Park. It was a game where it was kind of starting to fizzle out a little bit. We'd won the game, but last 10 minutes to go, Hawley pops up 2 tries. It felt like it was never going to come, but yeah, he popped up with 2 tries towards the end of that game. Levelled the record and then broke it within a matter of minutes, which was a really special moment for those that were at Craven Park to be able to witness. Obviously, he's still scoring tries now for Leeds. He's got Josh Charnley chasing him down. Obviously, he scored his 250th and his 251st tries against Hull KR in July of 2025. So yeah, Charnley's going to be chasing him down. We've got that record, haven't we? All three players at the top of the Super League try scoring charts have all scored tries for Hull KR. That being Ryan Hall, Josh Charnley, and Danny Maguire. All three of those scored tries for the Robins. Obviously, Josh Charnley scored his first tries of those whilst on loan with us during that 2010 season. So yeah, so really nice little sort of stat stroke, cheeky little fact that I quite like there. So yeah, that's been a little bit about Ryan Hall and Super League and tries and whatever else. Got a little bit carried away there, but you know, it's always good when you're able to sort of share a little bit of knowledge. I really do enjoy doing that. So yeah, that's been the 2022 Boilermakers shirt, episode number 140 in the can. Thank you very much for keeping in touch with us here at Hull KR Shirts. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to check back in another couple of weeks where I take you all the way back to the 1990s. See you then. Bye for now.